I have admired this kit for over a year. Until recently, I didn't have a home for it. But once I did, I decided to treat myself. It's Swedish in style. Clean lines, a little formal. I did a bit of research, and now I'm emotionally attached. It turns out that a sofa like this would have been called a canapé. It referred to a formal salon couch, the sort where people sat upright and behaved themselves. The funny part is, the food meaning came much later. Someone thought toppings sitting on a piece of bread looked like people lounging on a couch. And that joke, it stuck for centuries. So now, I'm calling mine a canapé. This one feels a little different though. Less salon, and more like a daybed in the garden. The fabric will be an oversized yellow gingham, a little bold and out of scale on purpose. A canapé like this could have gone delicate, but it's the centerpiece, and I wanted it to lead. This room is an exercise in softness for me. And softness doesn't mean small. It can be generous, expansive even. This slipper chair wasn't planned. Just a rainy afternoon, and the urge to make something. It's based on a mid-century shape. smaller than it probably needs to be. There isn't much room for chairs in this space. The shelf is narrow, but I wanted it anyways. Sometimes that's reason enough. I'm not entirely sure it belongs here, but that's okay. And then there's the stool. It was meant to be a small fireside seat. Somewhere along the way, it grew taller. Or I miscalculated. Maybe both. Since I was already experimenting, I decided to add some long fringe so that it would mirror the skirt. It reminds me of an Afghan dog, and I can't stop brushing it. I've thought about remaking it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Right now, it makes me smile. I'll let it stand as a reminder. That play is about curiosity, just like the room. It's a little imperfect, a little whimsical. A place where patterns argue and colors flirt. A bit of personality and hopefully a sense of humor. Like any good showroom, we're still playing.